All right, here's our last one. Same thing as the last few. I just want to say, like, I know this is going to be a little confusing, as is anything when it's brand new like this. Just kind of be patient with yourself, and understand it's going to take you a little bit of time to get the hang of this. It's just that's how it works with anything that's new. But we can do it. And just you're going to have to let me know. If you want some extra help, I can do like a one-on-one session with you through Google Meet or something. All right, the last one is a negative, so we're going to start with downward movement, and we're going down 3 pi and then another fourth. So 3 would be, there's 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and then another fourth would be halfway to a half, right? Halfway to a half. So there would be your angle for negative 13 pi over 4. All right, moving on. So next topic, what we're going to be doing is something that people actually really enjoy, and that is converting between degrees and radians. People really enjoy this usually because our brains understand degrees and we don't really understand radians yet. So sometimes it's helpful to convert radians back into degrees and kind of understand it that way. But we're going to be converting between each one. So in order to convert degrees to radians, you're going to start with, like, maybe it'll be 100 degrees. Okay, I don't know. So I have a 100-degree angle. What would that be in radians? So what you're going to be doing is you're going to take that number, put it over 1, and you're going to multiply by pi radians over 180 degrees. And the reason why it's pi and 180 is because pi radians is exactly 180 degrees in a rotation. We learned that at the beginning of this lesson. So pi radians is 180 degrees. So this is really like multiplying by 1. Okay, so if I just keep going through the steps just to show you an example, here's how that works. I specifically chose to put pi radians on the top of this fraction and 180 on the bottom because when you are multiplying fractions, anything that is on the top and the bottom is possible to be canceled. In this case, we're canceling units of measure. So the degree symbol on the top and the degree symbol on the bottom would cancel one another out and would leave you with just a radian degree measure. Okay, so my answer would be 100 pi over 180 if you just did top times top over bottom times bottom, and that would be in radians because that's the only unit of measure left. And then of course we would simplify by reducing this fraction. You could divide by 10, which would essentially eliminate the zeros. So you'd have 10 pi over 18, and then you could divide by 2 to reduce it a little further and make it 5 pi over 9. So moral of that story is 100 degrees as an angle measurement is equal to 5 pi by 9 radians. All right, let's do kind of the opposite. So what if I have radians and want to convert to degrees? So let's do, I don't know, let's do 5 pi by 9. Since we know that's 100 degrees, let's just look at the steps. So if I have 5 pi by 9 radians, I am going to multiply by 180 degrees over pi radians. And so you'll notice that it's the same fraction from the last example, but it's flipped. The reason why it's flipped is because of that rule where something on the top can cancel with something on the bottom. In this case, we're trying to cancel the radian unit of measure and leave with degrees. So we need the radians that are on the top to cancel with the radians that are on the bottom and leave us with a degree measurement. And so if we do that, what we're going to do is cancel those radians, and then we're going to multiply top times top. So 5 times 180, or 5 pi times 180. Let me grab my calculator. 5 times 180 is 900. So I would have 900 pi. And then on the bottom, 9 times pi would be 9 pi. And then the pi's can cancel because there's one on top, one on bottom. And then you would have 900 over 9. And then it's essentially just what's 900 divided by 9? That is 100. So 5 pi by 9 radians as an angle measurement is the same as 100 degrees as an angle measurement. So the last thing in this lesson is just going to be working on converting from radians to degrees or from degrees to radians. So I'm just going to do a couple of these because it's going to be a lot of the same thing over and over again. So maybe I'll start with one of these negative ones. So right now, this is in radians. I know it's in radians because I do not see a degree symbol. Remember, there's no like symbol for radians like there is for degrees. So I'm going to throw the word radians right there. And then I'm going to multiply by, and you can look back at the last slide for like the formula or setup, but it would be 180 degrees on top and pi radians on bottom. And remember, I use 180 and pi because they are equal in measure. So then my radians would cancel. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and cancel the pi's because there's one on top, one on bottom. And then multiply. So I have negative 2 times 180 would be negative 360 over 3 looks like the only thing on the bottom. And then if I just divide the two of those, I would get negative 120 degrees. Okay, let me just do one more. So we'll go the other direction and I'll do another negative one just to show you that. So now I have a degree measurement and I see the little degree symbol. That's how I know. And so I'm going to multiply by pi radians over 180 degrees. And then try to think again, like, why did I put pi radians on top this time when last time I put it on bottom? Well, that's because I want the degree measurements to cancel. And in order for that to happen, one on top, there has to be one on top and one on bottom for that to work. All right, so what do I have left? I have negative 320 times pi radians. So that would be negative 320 pi. And I'll just go ahead and throw the word radians up there too. Divided by 180 would be on the bottom. And then I got to figure out how I can reduce this fraction because it's just kind of a mess. So what can I divide 32 and 18 both by? Not 4, just 2 maybe? Actually, I'm going to make it 20 because they have zeros. So if I do 320 divided by 20, I will get negative 16. And 180 divided by 20 would be 9. And then radians. Oh, I forgot my pi. There's a pi on top. Okay. And just make sure it doesn't reduce anymore, which it does not. And that is your answer. So 320 degrees, negative 320 degrees is the same as negative 16 pi by 9 radians. Here's just a quick summary of all the things that you have to do for this lesson. Homework is on Delta Math, and then there's an activity on quizzes, and you do have to sign up for quizzes before you can do this, and I did send you a link to your email to do that. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. See you later.